Seeking to scale your business to new heights? Then you are at the right place. Malay Damania, business transformation coach, is here to share valuable advice, tips, and teachings on effective business management. Learn from the best to run a thriving business in these volatile environments. And for more interactive learning from Malay, sign up for his free webinars happening every Sunday at 11 a.m. IST, where you can dive deeper into business transformation strategies. Registration link given in show notes. And now, buckle up for some quick and actionable insights that will revolutionize your approach to business on Business Veda podcast from your host, Malay Damania.
Hello, friends. This is your Business Veda podcast host, Malay Damania. I'm very happy to welcome all of you to this very special episode of Business Veda, where we are going to have conversation with a manifestation coach and a healer. Friends, today we have with us Divya Kakkar, a very energetic and vibrant manifestation coach and a healer. She helps people manifest their dream relationships, health, wealth, and personal goals using her signature SQ elevation process. She has worked with more than 500 people individually and in group. She has also been featured on Tata Sky, Bombay Stock Exchange magazine, and several other newspapers and magazines for her manifestation and healing work. So, Divya, I'm very pleased to welcome you to this Business Veda podcast.
Thank you so much, Malay. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here as well.
All right. Thank you so much. So, Divya, before we get to some conversation, I would just like to, the audience would just like to know a little bit more about you personally. It's customary that, I will ask you, I will just say a word, and whatever comes to your mind, you just say it. Could be
Okay.
a word or whatever comes to your mind.
Sure.
Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, the first word is dream.
Subconscious mind.
All right. I'm speaking to a manifestation coach. Food.
Italian platter.
Wow, wonderful. Success.
Peace of mind.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this quick fire round. All right. So, Divya, let us know something more about, how did you start your journey? Why manifestation coach?
So that part is a bit too scary and interesting both at the same time, because when I started this, I really had no idea how this is going to be, what is even manifestation. And I had, so I was in a job that was deeply unsatisfactory. I had asthma, I had PCOD, I was in a unhappy relationship. I pretty much, kind of was stuck. I was in depression. I had anxiety, panic attacks almost every single day. So my life was probably, the entire life was a mess. I did not know what I wanted to do. I did not want to be in the job that I was in. I was in a teaching job at a university, the same university where I studied. So if you look at my life from a stranger's perspective, everything seemed to be really amazing. I have an awesome job. I have I'm living in an apartment given by the university. I'm making good money. Everything was perfectly fine. On the outside, you also wouldn't see health issues that I was facing. So deeply, I was like very, very dissatisfied with what I was having in my life in all the areas. So I wanted to do something about it, but I never had an idea that, any such thing was possible. Coaching, what is it? Manifestation, mindset, what is it? Or even healing for that matter, I didn't know any of it. So I was introduced to the first modality that I was also trained in, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So I studied it, I did my certifications, got my licenses, and I started practicing it on myself. I started to see shifts in my life that I could never have imagined. I was shifting my belief system, and that was making an impact on how I was making decisions in my life. I was becoming more confident, more verbal, my boundaries were stronger, my self love was increasing, and I was, stopping to please people now and do things because they want me to do it. So that was happening. And at the same time, I started learning energy healing. So I started applying that. And, one day I was traveling in a bus and I was going somewhere and I just checked my bag and my asthma pump wasn't with me. And I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to have to go back and, just get it because I need it like twice in a day. So that is what was happening. But I was also doing energy healing at the same time. So then, there is this intuition that told me you don't need to go back. You'll be good. You'll be just fine. So I went to the place and I forgot about my inhaler. I forgot about even having asthma. And throughout the day I didn't need it even once, and I used to take it twice a day. The doctors had told me that you can only manage asthma. You can never cure it fully. So there I was. I didn't need it for a day. Second day, I experimented again. I kept it in my bag, but I didn't use it. The third day also went like that. So for a week, I didn't need it. I told myself that I need it. So I just took one pump, just like that. You know, so it went like that. And 1 month, I came to my home visiting my parents, and they were like, are you fine? You're not on your inhaler all the time. You used to be like taking that all the time. I was like, I am completely cured from it. So my dad, my sister, they took me to the doctor. We did some tests and the asthma was gone. And I was like, damn, this is possible. People think that you cannot cure physical diseases, you cannot cure financial issues that you're probably facing, but it's all inside you. So that is when my belief got even stronger that, my life goes according to me. I am the conscious creator along with God or the universe. So I'm co creating my life with the higher intelligence. So I decided that, I want to quit this job because I'm not happy here. And this is something that speaks to me, co creating life with the higher intelligence. That is how manifestation came into picture. And like you said, I have now worked with more than 500 people and helped them manifest their dream lives, health, wealth, career, business. So that's where I am. That's where it started.
This is such an inspiring journey, actually.
Thank you so
Divya,
much.
you said something very interesting that I started with changing my belief system. So I guess it has a lot to do with the belief system that people have for their, which actually translate to their reality. Maybe how easy is it to change the belief system? We hear this quite often,
Right.
but how do we change that belief system?
So, Malay, that's a very, very interesting and important question to ask. Everything goes down to the belief system, as we know. That, your life is a reflection of what you believe about yourself, about others, about the world. How easy or difficult it is, one would depend on the readiness that you have. A lot of people I've heard saying, even my clients I've heard saying, they would say that, oh, we are 50, we are 55, and how can we change our belief system now? We've lived our life like that. And then I have clients who are 65 years young, I would say, and they would say, oh, I am very open to change. You know, those are the people who get amazing results right there and then. And it's not about, the techniques work immediately for changing your beliefs, for working on yourself. It's your readiness that plays a very important part, very important role. Second, the important factor that I would say after your readiness is if you're coachable or not. Again, talks about your readiness, but when you're coachable, more ready to change, you're going to be helped easier by the coaches or the mentors that you have. It'll become easier for you to work on your belief systems. And third is, when you're trying to change a belief system, what will decide if that's easier for you to happen or difficult is your identity. So even deeper than beliefs is an identity that you're identified with. For example, if I say that, I am poor, right? I have identified myself with all the past incidences where I have felt miserable, poor, didn't have money. Now, no matter how much I try to change my belief that, oh, I'm affirming, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm successful, this identification with the poorness, right, is not gonna help me to change that belief. So you also need to work on the identifications, what we call as detachment, right? You need to be detached in order to manifest something. That is the detachment that we're talking about. Your detachment with certain labels, for example. So if you're detached, if you're not running or chasing after certain identities, and you're open, you have that space, you have that, time and space in your aura, in your electromagnetic field, I would say, then it's going to be easier for you to shift your beliefs also.
So you're talking something which is very, very fundamental and it's very interesting. I've heard this phrase called if you believe you can
Hmm.
or you can't, you are right.
Yeah,
So it what I understood is always is it always goes back to your belief system, but
absolutely.
you are going a bit deeper than even that, and you are getting to the identity.
Hmm.
My identity that I have labeled myself with.
Right, right.
I'm going to have that kind of life. Whatever is identity, I have made my choice as.
Absolutely.
All right. So Divya, we have a lot of business owners, who are the listeners, who are our audience. When we talk about manifestation, of course, every business owners they set goals in their business,
Right.
a goal, 3-year goal, etc.
Hmm.
Some of them also set very specific goals, which is what we call SMART goals. They start working towards those goals.
Hmm.
But what happens is somewhere down the line, they struggle to achieve those goals. We set goals, but then we fall much short of it. And then after a while, we even forget it. After 3 months, 6 months, they even forget it. What would you tell them? How should they approach achieving their goals? Let's say annual goals.
Okay. So, Malay, I would say first thing that we need to see about setting goals and achieving them is, are they your deep desires that you've set as goals? For example, I have a lot of clients and they would say, I want to make 100K a month, right? I want to make 200K a month. That's the goal that they've set. But that is not backed by a strong why. It is not coming from within. Why do they want to make 100K? Is because they want to show it to somebody. Oh, I can do it. So, this goal is not coming from a space of desire. This goal is coming from a space of desperation. This goal is coming from a space of lack or the need to prove to somebody, which is again a lack within you where you're not confident, where you're not feeling worthy about yourself, where you're not feeling fulfilled about yourself. So, you want to have some goals manifested just to prove that to somebody. Now, deep down, again, going back to the identification, deep down, you believe that you can't do it and you're trying to achieve that goal. So, no matter how specific, measurable, actionable goals you set, smart goals you set, you're not going to be able to achieve them until unless you have a strong why. And that is coming from within you. That is your goal. So, first thing is, it has to come from you. It doesn't have to be somebody else's goal that you're projecting. For example, parents' expectations, your spouse's expectations of you, society's expectations of you, or you wanting to prove. So once that is sorted, once you know that this is my deep desire, I want to make 10K, 20K, 40K, 100K, whatever that is. Now that is your deep desire. In order to achieve it, one thing that I've mostly seen people do is they will do everything right, but they will then start chasing hard work. I got to do hard work to achieve it. I got to do hard work to get there. If I'm not working hard, then I cannot achieve it. Because that's what we've seen as a society. We've seen the hustle culture to be glorified. We've seen hard work to be glorified. But if it were true that only hard work produces results, farmers, manual laborers would be the richest people on earth, which is completely not true, right? So, one thing has been established that it's not hard work that's going to produce results, right? So, I work with a lot of people who procrastinate a lot, Malay. What happens with them is, they'll set a goal and then they're like, oh, I'm giving 8 hours to my goal, but nothing is getting done. So I ask them, are you really focused in these 8 hours? Are you really consciously working towards your goal? And they'll be like, no, maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hour. And then I'm distracted. I'm thinking about what needs to be done. I'm thinking about how the market conditions are. I'm thinking about how I will not get clients, how difficult it is to get clients these days. So that's where their mind is. So in those 8 hours of hard work, they've put only 1 hour of real work, right? So the idea here is, even if you put 2 or 3 hours, but that is focused, consciously you're working towards your goals, then you're going to be able to achieve them much faster than you are right now.
All right, all right. I think, yeah, I'm getting it. So the question that was coming in my mind is, let's say I work on my belief system, on my
Right.
identity, and get positive about the outcome that I want to produce. But obviously, I need to work hard as well. So there has to be a balance between my belief system and the actions that I'm taking in my office. And you rightly said that, it's not the amount of hard work, but the focused attention that you are
Yes.
giving it to it.
Right.
Still, there has to be kind of a balance between, what you believe and what you work. Isn't it?
Right. So Malay, I really love how we've been trained to believe in hard work. If somebody questions my hard work, they're questioning me, because I've been a hard worker throughout my life. So there's no question about it. But I like to ask, what is hard work? Where did this definition even come from? I would like to question it. Hard, right? Something that's hard to do. It's not easy to do, right? So hard work is something that's really hard for you to do. You don't want to do it, you still have to do it. But if you're running a business and there is certain activities that you're needed to do, even if for 8 hours, but that is coming naturally to you. I'm loving it, I'm in flow with it, I'm enjoying it, then is it hard work? It may be longer work, right? Longer duration of work. It may be focused attention work. It may be aligned work, but that's totally not hard work. At least not for me, not for my clients. How we work is, we like to call it aligned work, aligned actions. Hard is something that's, you're telling your brain, oh, it's very hard to do. The mind wouldn't want to do it. You say that, I'm going to work 8 hours, but I'm going to enjoy my work. Is that hard? Probably not now.
So it's not the hard work. The word itself is, telling your mind that, this is
Yes.
something which you don't want to do, but you are required to do.
Yes.
So it is a kind of a resistance which might come in.
Absolutely. And thus the procrastination, and thus no results.
Have you got your copy of Business Champ yet? If not, go ahead and grab this Amazon bestseller by Malay Damania. It is a complete roadmap to transform your business. Thousands of business owners have already benefited from the book. Get your copy now from the link in show notes.
All right. So you very well said. Aligned work. I like that work. Aligned work. Something which is aligned with my belief system, with my identity, with my goals.
Absolutely.
Then I start to enjoy what I am doing.
Yeah.
Does that increase my probability of achieving my goals?
Right. So this, if that is completely aligned to your goals, to your belief system, you're enjoying it, why wouldn't it increase your probability of achieving your goals? So for example, if I take an onion, that's what I just did before our podcast. I chopped some onions to cook something. So I take an onion and I'm like chopping. Wouldn't the onion be cut in like a minute or so? It would be, right.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in efforts, I'm in the right direction, I'm chopping, that's going to be cut. There is no question about it. If it is aligned, if it is completely in the direction of your goals, definitely you're moving forward.
Great. So while achieving these goals, we are obviously going to get, our tough times, ups and downs. And, that's how the life is, whether it is business or any other thing, you're not going to have that smooth ride.
Right.
To have that bumpy road on your way. So just want to ask, how do people remain motivated? We talk about positive affirmations.
Yeah.
How do they remain motivated, especially while, they are on the kind of situation?
Right. And that's an amazing question again, Malay. So I was about to add this in the previous answer, but since you asked it, I'm gonna answer it here. So how I see it, as I'll just draw a very lame diagram maybe in my notebook. So people say that, you start here and then you go here, and then you come down, and then you put some efforts, you're consistent, and then you go here and then here. So that's how they draw this graph. I don't see it this way, Malay.
Mhm.
I always see life as, we're starting here, right? And then we move up the spiral. And then probably, if this is the point that you started, let's call it one, and you feel, oh, I am at the same level, right? Same things are happening because at one, this would have happened. But you need to realize that you are at two, you're higher up. And then you move, you come back to the same level, but that's a three. And then you go, you come to four. What I mean by this is it may feel like this is the exact point where you are at when you are at two, you're at three, you're at four, but the length, the height that you are at is increasing, isn't it? So let me share an example. For example, if somebody has had a fight with their spouse, let's see, then they work on themselves, they draw their boundaries, and they're pretty much fine. So from one, they're moving higher up, they're feeling all good, and they're at two now. Their spouse fights with them again, or they get triggered, they fight with their spouse again, and they'll be like, Divya, I fought with my husband again, I fought with my wife again, nothing is working for me. And I'll be like, do you have the awareness now that you're fighting with your partner? They'll say yes. And at one, did you have the awareness? When you first came to me, did you have the awareness that your boundaries are being, hampered, or you're fighting? They will say no. So I would ask them, has the awareness increased here? And they'll be like, yes. The next time that they're fighting, they'll be like, oh, but I'm aware now that I need to stop it, which they didn't have at one, right? So definitely first awareness comes, then you become aware that I want to change, then you become aware of the actions that needs to be taken, and then you take those actions, and then you get those results. So it's not like you're going up and you're coming steeply down. No, that's not happening. You're moving up a spiral. That's what life is, how I see it.
Wow, wonderful. So it's all about, the spiral curve. And we may not realize it, what you are trying to say. We may not realize it that we are actually getting better in
Yeah.
resolving that particular, let's say, conflict or a situation. But in reality, being aware about the situation, being
Yes.
aware about that these are the actions to be taken. I may not be taking it today.
Yes.
This is the reason why I'm not seeing change. But
Right.
just being aware about the situation and the action that I need to take, that itself is a testament that I am getting better.
Absolutely.
I will at some point of time, not immediately, but once I continue
Yeah.
spiral curve,
Yeah, right.
some point of time I will start to
Take actions
improve,
also
take
and
action
improve, get results. Definitely.
Wonderful. So, how much time does this take? Like, many times, let's say I want to change my life, change my situation, and let's say I come to you, and then there are different kind of situations. But once I want to, make changes in my life, what is the kind of timeline I should look at by the time
Right.
at least start seeing some result?
Right. Okay. So I'll take an example here. So in Zen belief system, they say either you explode, like the universe explodes, the Big Bang, and there is instant enlightenment, instant awakening. You're there, boom. Something happened, you changed, something changed in your life as well. Or you awaken like a flower blooms, right? Slowly, gradually, beautifully. So, both of these, I would say, are the possibilities. When you work on yourself, it can be an instant thing that happens. Oh, I'm now aware of this pattern, and this is something that I'm shifting right now, and you get your results. That is something that can happen. When you're talking about long term change, long term achieving your goals, it could look like this. You work on, so I'll explain it this way. We're all energetic in nature. The physics has proven it. Everything is energy, right? So throughout our times on this earth, we are like an energy. We're sending out electromagnetic waves around us. Thoughts and feelings are like electromagnetic signals. The universe responds back to these signals and gives us the reality that we were sending out also. Deep down, if you believe that I'm deserving of love, the universe gives you love. Deep down, if you believe that I'm undeserving of love, The universe responds to that vibration. So now, where is this coming from? If you start to work on that, oh, in the childhood, my parents didn't trust me. So I have started to believe that I am untrustworthy, I am undeserving. So you work on healing yourself. It could take some time. You remove those patterns, you remove those blocks, you remove those limiting beliefs about yourself. You start to process your emotions that have been stored, that have been stuck inside you, which is causing the physical, mental, emotional issues in you. And then you start to send out the vibrations of what you want to attract. This may take some time. I have had clients who have had massive breakthroughs within 5 weeks of working with me, within a month of working, so it depends entirely on how open again are you to change. So ideally, I would say 1 month to 6 months is a good time that you can start to see amazing results in different areas of your life, because you've now let loose of those past. You've started to process, you've started to attract things that you really desire.
Sure, sure. And you rightly said it's more about my readiness to
Yeah,
change. It's more about
always.
am I
Yeah,
really coachable? And if
right.
that is the kind of mindset I come with, then
Hmm.
probably it will take much shorter time.
Absolutely. Yes.
Divya, I've read some books on this. Let's say The Secret, The Think and Grow Rich.
Hmm.
Is there any book that you would want to recommend to our audience? That will just help them in understanding the basics, at least, of these principles.
So I'm not a person to talk about the basics.
Uh,
you know.
No, at least it
No, no, no.
motivates
Yeah,
them to start this journey.
yeah, yeah. I was coming there. So Malay, there is this book which I call my Bible, and you'll if I show you my books right here, you'll see 3 copies of one book, which is The Power of Now. It's right here. Why do I have 3 copies of the same book? Is somebody comes, let's say my sister or my husband, they come and they tell me, you're always reading this one book, we want a copy, we want to read it. I'll be like, God, I can't give you my copy. So I've got 2 more copies to lend it to other people, because I can't give mine. So The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is something that stays with me all the time. It is a book on mindfulness, on presence, which is the essence of manifestation. See, the pop culture, how it teaches manifestation is think positive, you get positive, but there is so much more to manifestation than thinking positive. I believe, or it's a truth also, that we don't think our thoughts. Mala, do you think that, you know XYZ, you get 100 thoughts, are you thinking them all the time?
No, no, not at all.
The thoughts come to you, isn't
Just
it?
come and go.
The thoughts come to us, they come and go. So when we say that I'm going to think positive, it's a lot of additional pressure that I'm putting on myself. I'm going to think positive. Oh God, deep down I'm feeling like shit, but then I'm telling myself I'm going to think positive, I'm going to be happy. That is a lot of distortion that's happening within me, and then I'm like, you know bombarded with a lot more pressure than I had before. I was already miserable, now I have an additional pressure of thinking positive.
Hmm.
So I would say that this book helps you to navigate through all of that in your mind, all of that clutter. It doesn't ask you to think positive, doesn't ask you to be positive, doesn't ask you to do certain activities. It takes you to a place within you which is connected to that internal intelligence. Call it God, call it universe, call it your internal being, or the God essence within you, whatever that is. This book helps you to get there, and once you are there is where manifestation actually begins. When your mind is calm, when you're rooted in your presence in the now. So sometime back I got this tattoo done to remind myself. It says here and now. So it reminds me to stay here and now. Yeah, so this is one book that I would definitely recommend everybody on earth to read.
The Power of Now.
The Power of Now.
I'm going to order my copy right away after this conversation.
Great. So
Um,
when I work with my clients also, Mala, I give them an option. Either I am gifting you this book or you buy it on your own, whatever that is. But this is like a mandatory book for you to read.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Divya, tell us something more about your programs that you run.
So I do. So it's a group coaching program. It's a group plus one-to-one coaching program, a 6 months long program where it's called Heal, Feel, and Manifest Academy. Because I believe that manifestation is, again, not just about positive thinking or chanting something or meditating. It's a blend of and a step by step process of healing, feeling, and then manifesting. So this is the program about where you work on your past issues, your conditioning, your traumas, you process them, you work on your limiting beliefs, you get to that space from where you're feeling abundant, you feel the wish fulfilled, and that is where you manifest your desires from. So
All right. So it's
yeah.
heal, feel, and manifest.
Yes.
We have a group session and also one-to-one.
One-to-ones, yes. It's a blend of both.
Wonderful. So for the audience, if they want to get in touch with Divya, we will put out in the comment section her credentials in terms of where you can contact Divya, right? Thank you so much, Divya. It was a wonderful conversation. I don't know where we already spoke about 30 minutes already. I didn't realize how the time flies so fast today. But yeah, you talked a lot about one being readiness, being coachable,
Yeah,
about the belief system, which is very fundamental, and
absolutely.
deeper than that, the identity. Also, you talked about your why. That's very important. You know, why do you want to reach to a certain place, or why do you want to achieve
Yeah.
your goals? So get deeper inside of you and figure out your purpose, which is very important. For
Absolutely.
you to be able to remain motivated and inspired throughout your journey, which is obviously going to be what we understand up and down, but you very rightly and nicely explained how the curve is like a spiral curve.
Yeah.
We don't realize that we are growing, but we
Yeah.
are growing, and it's just after a while you stay committed to your actions that you will start seeing positive results.
Absolutely, Malay. You summarized everything so beautifully.
No, thank you so much for your time, Divya. Before we let you go, again, we'd like to pick your brain on some of the personal questions. Tell us, which is your favorite holiday destination?
Holiday destination. So it would be anything that's a mix of greens and blues, water and greenery, anywhere where that is.
Wow, mixture of greens and blues.
Yeah, so I can't stay in a place which is all blue. I can't stay in a place where it's all green. So I want both the elements.
You want both, best of both worlds.
Yeah, best of both worlds. Yeah.
Wonderful. And your favorite movie dialogue?
Okay, so that will be जब आप किसी चीज को पूरे दिल से चाहते हो तो पूरी कायनात आप उसको उससे मिलाने में लग जाती है. This is something that I deeply believe in. When you have a deep desire, so Deepak Chopra puts it this way: the universe gives you only those desires which it wants to manifest through you, which it wants to fulfill through you.
And believe me, when I asked this question about your movie dialogue,
You knew it.
I knew you're going to come up with this dialogue from Om Shanti Om.
Because I'm a deep believer of this.
Fantastic. All right, Divya, thank you so much for your time and your last words to our audience.
Believe you can and you will. That's what my journal also says. I can and I will. Believe it, you can and you will.
Wonderful. Sure, I'm sure the audiences are going to start believing a lot more from today than before, and it's just the beginning of their journey to manifesting whatever they desire to manifest.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Divya, for being here on this Business Veda podcast and talking to us.
Thank you so much, Malay, for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. And goodbye.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
A top-rated podcast, Business Veda, is must listen for every business owner. So share this with someone who will find this podcast useful. Remember to follow the podcast and tune in next week for yet another business lesson from Malay Damania.